Somewhere in the future, there is a version of you watching. Not literally, but imagine for a moment that they could. Imagine the person you become 10 years from now is standing in front of you. Older, wiser, stronger, carrying the consequences of every decision you're making today. And if they could tell you one thing, what do you think it would be? Maybe they wouldn't talk about money. Maybe they wouldn't talk about success. Maybe they wouldn't talk about status. Maybe they would simply ask one question. Why are you waiting? Why are you waiting to start? Why are you waiting to change? Why are you waiting to become the person you already know you should be? Your future self knows something you don't. They know exactly where your current path leads. They know where your habits lead. They know where your excuses lead. They know where your discipline leads. They know where your laziness leads. They know where your courage leads. They know where your fear leads, because they've already lived it. Right now, you're standing at a crossroads. You don't realize it, because it feels like an ordinary day, just another morning, just another afternoon, just another night. But life-changing moments rarely announce themselves. They disguise themselves as normal days. Most people think their future is created by massive decisions. It's not. Your future is created by ordinary days, ordinary choices, ordinary actions, repeated over and over again, until they become your life. The future version of you isn't built in one moment. They're built in thousands of moments. The workout you almost skipped, the book you almost didn't read, the opportunity you almost ignored, the risk you almost avoided, the promise you almost broke. Those moments matter more than people realize. Because character isn't built during extraordinary moments. It's built during ordinary moments. When nobody is watching. When nobody cares. When nobody is applauding. That's when futures are created. Imagine your future self looking at your current life. Looking at the distractions. Looking at the wasted hours. Looking at the excuses. Looking at the opportunities you're taking for granted. What would they say? Would they understand? Would they approve? Or would they beg you to wake up? Because here's the painful truth. Your future self is forced to live with the decisions you're making right now. They don't get a vote. You do. Every excuse you make today, they inherit. Every opportunity you waste today, they inherit. Every habit you build today, they inherit. Every action you take today, they inherit. They are living inside the future you're creating. And maybe that's why so many people feel dissatisfied. Not because they're failing, because deep down, they know they're capable of more. They know they're settling. They know they're avoiding something. They know they're drifting. There is a voice inside every person. A quiet voice, not loud, not dramatic, just persistent. A voice that whispers, "You can do better. You can be more. You weren't meant to live like this." Most people spend years trying to silence that voice. Through entertainment, through distractions, through excuses, through comfort. But the voice never leaves. Because it's not your enemy. It's your potential speaking. Potential is a strange thing. It can be exciting, but it can also be painful. Because potential constantly reminds you of what could be. It constantly shows you the gap between who you are and who you're capable of becoming. And the longer you ignore that gap, the larger it becomes, until one day it becomes impossible to ignore. You wake up. 5 years have passed, 10 years have passed, 20 years have passed, and suddenly you realize something terrifying. You didn't become the person you wanted to become, not because you couldn't, because you never committed. That's what regret really is. Regret isn't failure. Regret is abandoned possibility. Regret is unrealized potential. Regret is knowing you could have become more and choosing comfort instead. Your future self understands this. That's why they're begging you. Not for perfection. Not for greatness overnight. Not for impossible standards. Just for action. One action, one decision, one step forward. Today. People think success changes lives. It doesn't. Success is the result. The thing that changes lives is consistency. The willingness to keep going. the willingness to continue when progress feels invisible, the willingness to trust the process before the results appear. Most people quit because they expect immediate rewards, but life doesn't work that way. The most important things take time. Strength takes time. Confidence takes time. Knowledge takes time. Discipline takes time. Success takes time. Everything worthwhile takes time. And that's exactly why so few people achieve it. Because they're unwilling to endure the waiting period. They're unwilling to continue without evidence. They're unwilling to trust the investment. But your future self knows something powerful. Every great outcome starts invisibly. Before the tree appears, the roots grow. Before the building appears, the foundation is built. Before success appears, discipline is formed. The problem is that nobody celebrates foundations. Nobody applauds roots. Nobody notices preparation. They only notice results. So people become addicted to appearances. They want visible success, visible progress, visible rewards. But real growth happens in private, in silence, in repetition, in ordinary moments. The strongest version of you is being built right now, or abandoned right now. There is no pause button, no neutral gear. You're always moving towards something, or away from it. Every day you're casting votes. Votes for the person you'll become. Every action is a vote. Every habit is a vote. Every excuse is a vote. Every disciplined decision is a vote. The future isn't something that happens to you. The future is something you're creating, every single day, whether you realize it or not. Imagine meeting your future self 10 years from now. Imagine looking them in the eyes. What do you want to see? Strength, confidence, wisdom, success, pride, or disappointment, regret, frustration, questions that can never be answered? Because one day that meeting will happen, not literally, but emotionally. One day you'll become your future self. One day you'll wake up inside the life you're creating right now, and on that day, you'll understand exactly how much today's decisions mattered. That's why your future self is begging you, not because they need perfection, because they need effort, not because they expect greatness overnight, because they know where small actions lead. They know what happens when you stop making excuses. They know what happens when you become disciplined. They know what happens when you finally commit. They've seen the outcome. They're living it. The question is, will you listen, or will you make them wait another year, another month, another week, another day? Because your future self has one final message, a message more important than anything else. It is this: the life you want is still possible. The person you want to become is still possible. The future you dream about is still possible, but only if you start, only if you move, only if you act. Today, not tomorrow, not someday, today.